but I will be starting The Ralph Report, my new daily morning show, every Monday through Friday on January 22nd. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers on patreon.com. We'd love to have you on board with The Ralph Report when we premiere, and the first week's going to be great. I promise you. Well, hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the very first episode of The Ralph Report. How exciting is this? It's exciting for me anyway. I am your host, Ralph Garman. Thanks so much for being here. Many of you may know me from the radio. Some of you may know me from Hollywood Babylon. Some of you may not know who I am at all. And I'm especially happy that you are here. November 30th was my last day in my last job on the radio. And so many of you reached out and said, you know what, I miss hearing you every morning from the radio. Or the Hollywood Babylon fans would say, I would like to hear more of you. Do your own show. It was your inspiration. Here I am hosting my own show, which is beyond exciting for me. And I truly appreciate all the emails and the tweets and people on the street talking to me. It was a remarkable experience and an enormous outpouring of love. And I love you right back. Let's start off the show with a little something I used to do on the radio. It's been a while. It's been a couple months, but I think it may be time to walk the showbiz beat. There we go. It's different music, but the camera guy is still the same, so that's good. I'm Ralph Garman, and I walk the showbiz beat. Oh, that felt good. Our first week. What do you think so far? I think it's going pretty good. Speaking of Jimmy, made me think as I was talking to him, we were talking about the old days, working together on the radio. And it was on the radio years ago. We were off there, actually. We were just hanging out in the office, and I was talking about what I was doing that weekend. And Jimmy, who at the time was married with 2 small children, was hearing about one of my sexual adventures over the weekend. And he turned to me and he said, you should teach a class because you do stuff that I've heard of, but I've never heard of people actually doing. And that was the beginning of a segment we started doing on the radio called Ralph's Sex University. Now, it was a very popular segment, and it went on for quite some time, but then Janet Jackson showed her nipple on CBS at the Super Bowl, and the lawyers in charge of our radio station at the time stepped in and said, well, you can't do that thing anymore because the FCC is already up our ass because Janet Jackson's nipple was shown, and we can't do anything to raise attention, and you are talking about sex. And my defense was, yes, I'm talking about human sexuality, but I'm talking about it in a very informational way. It's entertaining, but I also am sharing information, things that I know of, and if I didn't know, I would do the research and I would present in a very non-clinical, but at the same time, informational way. Well, they didn't buy any of that, and that bit got killed. This is years ago. That bit went away. I was never able to do it again. Cut to an episode a couple episodes ago of Hollywood Babylon where I tell Kevin Smith that back in the day I was involved for years in what is known as the lifestyle, swinging. And Kevin was blown away. He did not know this about me. And apparently many listeners for Hollywood Babylon also did not know it about me because there was a deluge of emails and questions and people who were fascinated by the lifestyle, by swinging, and by my personal experiences and wanted to know how they could get into it and what it would entail and what it was like. And it struck me as I was reading those emails and as the plans for the Ralph Report were coming together that it was time to bring back Sex University. And that's just what we're doing. Class is once again in session. It is Sex University, and today's topic is Swinging 101. Hey there, boys and girls. Welcome to the Ralph Report on a Friday, January the 26th. Oh, I tell you, it's the first Friday of the brand new Ralph Report, and I forgot one of the dangerous pitfalls of doing your job early in the morning, and that is the hangovers. Working hungover. I've forgotten how awful that can be. And this morning is just such a case. I may need to re-examine my life when the first week of my new job, and I'm already doing the show hungover, but it was worth it. No show in the history of television, radio, what have you, has come out of the egg, as it were, fully formed. And we're only a couple weeks in, and we're trying some new stuff, and we're going to add new elements, and hopefully some new players. And as things grow, I think you're really going to dig what we're going to do with it. And no, it won't be the same thing that I did on the radio, and it won't be the same thing as Hollywood Babylon, because that's still a very thriving enterprise in and of itself, and we've got that. This will be something else. This will be something different, and it'll be a lot more me solo, but we're going to add more people and more dialogue, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun stuff going on. So hang in there. I hope for the time being you're liking what I'm doing, however, because I'm having a blast. Even this goddamn early in the morning, I'm having a good time. I got an email here from Brandon Rohrbacher, proud 4-star general in the Garmy. Brandon is. God bless you, Brandon. He writes the following. First of all, loving the new Vice host, Eddie Pence.
Oh, thank you.
How about that?
Thank you.
Today you mentioned that May 31st is International Flight Attendant Day. He said, I think it would be a great addition to the show if you let us know what one of the daily national or international holidays that day is. Each day has numerous holidays, and it would be fun to have you choose one holiday for the Garmy to celebrate each day. Brandon Rohrbacher. And I completely agree. So I pulled the list for today, June 1st, of what the national and international holidays they are, and we can choose which one we choose to celebrate here at the Ralph Report, all right? I don't think you know this, Eddie, but today is the 100th episode of the Ralph Report.
Really?
Yes.
Congratulations.
It's our first official milestone. This is the 100th episode of this show. And I can't believe it's been 100 episodes already.
How many man hours?
4 billion man hours. Longer than I've been alive, I've been working on this show. We started back on January 22nd, and here we are now in the throes of June, and we've knocked out 100 of these
Congratulations.
suckers.
That's huge.
Thank you. And thanks to everybody out there, all you guys who are members of the Garmy who are supporting this show and making it possible. And we love putting it together for you each and every day. So
And
thanks.
Before I came into this show, I had no idea how much work you put into this show.
Well,
you put in a ton of work to this. It's crazy.
Thank you. It's a blast to do. It's a lot of work, but I'm loving it. I really appreciate all you guys going over to patreon.com and becoming a part of this. So thanks so much. All right. That is it for today's holiday or holiday segment. I think we're going to go with that. That makes me laugh. Holiday or holiday? It is July.
That's what you came up with?
I didn't. That was, I forget the listener who sent that in. Scott, I think his name is.
Oh, if it's a listener, it's great.
A listener sent that in.
It's
yeah,
amazing.
And he said, this is my suggestion for the name of
Holiday or
holiday or holiday. Yeah. Someone said, should it be holiday or holiday? And I was like, well, no, because then there's no holiday in it at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yay? No.
Holiday.
I don't like to say yay anyway.
Holiday or holiday. And if you got a jingle, send it on in. That'd be useful.
So we don't have to say it.
You don't have to say it. We can just push a button, and magic will happen. Some people are passionate about the name of the segment. Some people want it changed. Well, yesterday on the live stream event, it seemed like the overwhelming choice was
to keep it.
Was to keep it, which we called the segment Holiday or Holiday. No. Dawn Young thinks she has a better idea. She said, Ralph, I just thought of the best title to replace Holiday or Holiday. She said, are you ready? Celebrate or Celebrate? I think it's about on par with Holiday.
It's about on par.
Holiday.
Hate's more of a negative word. So
yeah, and Holiday isn't in the name of the segment, which you kind of need. So, Dawn, I appreciate you taking a shot, but I think we're going to pass on Celebrate or Celebrate. Not quite the same charm, I don't think. Someone suggested, we had an email from a Garmy member who said that we should do a new segment where we talk about the derivation of popular sayings that no one really knows, seems to know where they come from. Remember we talked about the dog days of summer?
Yeah.
It turned out dog days had nothing to do with dogs whatsoever.
It was about the stars.
It was about the canine star in the sky, the Canis Majoris, which is the dog constellation. Yeah. And that appears at a certain time of the year, and those are the dog days of summer. So someone said you should do that with other sayings, and I wonder if that would just be annoying.
It could be.
Or whether that'd be interesting.
We could do it once a week.
Maybe we could have something come up. Anyway, we're going to be doing our 200th Ralph Report in a couple of weeks.
Really?
Yeah. When you do it every day, they start to add up. I'll tell you that much. This whole thing has been a surprise. The Ralph Report is It's a new invention. It just started in January, and here we are in September and doing our first Ralph Report live in front of a live audience. This is very exciting. Today's episode of the Ralph Report is officially the 200th episode of the Ralph Report.
Is it really?
It is, yes. 200 Ralph Reports.
Wow. I was
have
around
come
for
and gone.
I was around for the 100th one, so I've done over 100 of these now.
That's just not possible.
That's crazy.
That is not. You're a lying
I know.
liar who lies.
I remember you saying this was the 100th episode.
I can't believe you've been here that long. It doesn't seem that long. That's crazy.
Hey, Ralph, this is Bridget, formerly of Long Island, 4-star general here. I got to tell you, I'm disappointed. Peaky fucking Blinders? You haven't watched Peaky fucking Blinders yet? What is wrong with you? You need to watch it. It is fucking awesome.
Right.
Great show.
Jesus.
Need to watch. Amazing. Fantastic. Watch Peaky fucking Blinders.
All
Bye.
right.
Love you. Mean it. Bye.
Jeez, I feel like Carmela Soprano's yelling at me over the phone.
I'm like instinctually leaning backwards as she's yelling at me.
She doesn't sound like she's from Long Island at all, does she? Oh, wait a minute. Wow, Bridget. All right, I hear you. Peaky fucking Blinders. Jeez, I feel like Tony Soprano.
Hey man, Sean Patrick here from Los Angeles. With the holidays upon us, I'm also realizing it's about that 1 year anniversary time from when you got let go from that one radio station. Who cares who they are? But I just wanted to say, man, I know the pressures of being creative all the time, always being on, always having new content, of entertaining people. Well, I'll let you know I appreciate it, man. And truly, I hope you are happier now than you were then. Love you, mean it, appreciate you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Sean
That's
Patrick.
nice.
Very cool to get that email. A lot of people reached out to me yesterday and today, marking the anniversary of the day that I got the boot from my old job. And I want to say to so many of you, it is exactly a year ago today that really the rug was pulled out from under me. The reason we're all here today is because of what happened to me a year ago. And it was one of the biggest blows that I'd ever taken in my life. It really sort of dropped me to my knees. When you lose a job that you've had for 18 years and you got a family to support and you're not sure where your next paycheck's going to come from. And I heard from so many people who are in the same circumstances, it really does rock you to your core. And I got to admit, I'm not proud. I was knocked on my ass by the events of that day. And then, through the help of family and friends, and most importantly, you guys, the Garmy, the supporters out there, the folks who tune in every day to the Ralph Report, the folks on Twitter, the folks who listen to Hollywood Babylon, so kind, so supportive. You really helped me get back on my feet. And here we are a year later, and we got the Ralph Report up and running, and we got a whole bunch of good stuff coming up for the upcoming 2019 year, and it really has been sort of a miracle how things have turned around. So I want to reach out to all of you guys and let you know how much I appreciate it. So thanks so much. This one came from Scott in Houston, Texas. He said, speaking of the show and holiday and hollandaise, what are you going to do in 2019? When I was out of town, my wife stepped in for one day with her friend to do the show.
Oh, that's right.
And they did This Day
Date
in History.
That's right. That's right.
So I think once we start lapping ourselves with the holiday and hollandaise segment, we'll just switch over and we'll
Day in history.
We'll pick something interesting that happened on that day in history. Thanks for asking, Sod. Thanks for thinking, by the way, that we're going to have a show in 2019. We're shooting for it, but you never know. Stephen Cuevas Fish, he sent this in. Stephen here from Santa Ana. He said, during the holiday or holiday, I love the mental image of gamblers in a smoky casino placing their bets before it's revealed whether Eddie will eat that or not. Would you be open to replacing the drum roll sound with the sound of a roulette wheel or a slot machine to complete the effect for my imagination? Today's food holiday, by the way, it is National Gazpacho Day. Everyone, please place your wagers. We're going to see whether Eddie Pence will eat gazpacho soup or not on this National Gazpacho Soup Day. Wait for the ball to drop, please. No more bets, no more wagers. And Eddie Pence?
No.
Going to use this one next time. Slot machine.
Oh, I
action.
like that one. Yeah.
Oh, 2 lemons and a cherry. It's not eating anything.
Not eating any of those.
Okay, get your bets in. I'm going to pull the Eddie Pence eating slot machine since he was just in Vegas. We're going to see what happens. Next Wednesday should be the 1 year anniversary. Wow. We got to do something special.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I got to think about it now.
You guys should listen to yourselves in half speed. Basically, it sounds like how Eddie would sound like if he was drunk. It's like a drunken conversation between the two of you guys, especially when you're describing what Eddie wouldn't eat. it'll be Eddie going, I'm not going to eat that. It's disgusting.
Thank you, CJ. Well, I took CJ's suggestion as well. So here is a heated conversation between Eddie and myself fighting over kombucha. Remember our big kombucha conversation?
Yeah, I remember that one last
Well,
week.
I was all pro-bacteria and you were all anti-bacteria. This is that same conversation, but slowed down to about 50% of its normal speed. And I think CJ's got a point.
Kombucha's gross.
Kombucha's awesome.
No.
Eddie.
I've tried it. It's gross.
It's so good for you,
No,
too.
it's not. They just say it is right now.
Why do you say
In
that?
2
It's
years,
got-
it'll be something else.
It's got all kinds of good bacteria in it for your gut.
I
There's
don't-
so
I don't-
many good things.
I don't know about
in it for
introducing
you.
bacteria into your body
The-
on purpose.
Your digestive system functions on bacteria. Without gut bacteria, nothing gets done in
I
your
got
body.
plenty of gut bacteria.
You
I'm
don't.
fine.
I'm fine. It's like trying to take the keys away from a guy who's headed out to the parking lot.
Oh my God, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I'm
I
fine.
got plenty.
Oh, CJ, you're my hero, man. I never would have done that if it
That's
wasn't for you.
amazing.
Thank you, boss. Today, January 22nd, is the 1-year anniversary of the very first
It
Ralph
is?
Report.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
It was on this day in 2018 that the Ralph Report was very first put out there for consumption on
A
Patreon.com.
mere 52 weeks ago.
How the show has grown and changed in the past year, I cannot even begin to list the ways. But one of the biggest ways, of course, was the addition of the vice host himself, Mr. Eddie Pence.
Hey, everybody, I'm glad to be here.
I'm happy to have you. When the show started, it was just me by myself talking in a room, and it was a lonely, weird experience. It was an experiment. And that experiment did not necessarily.
Have you
go
listened to
very
the
well.
first show?
I have not. I
haven't?
don't have the intestinal fortitude. I don't have the courage. I don't have the strength to go back and listen to it.
But all good things evolve, and this has.
Well, here's the thing, and I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again, but everyone has to remember when I lost my job at the end of 2017, that was a complete surprise to me.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the last day of November when that happened.
Yeah.
So I was out of a job, and I said, well, I'll probably meet with, the other radio stations. And I took a few meetings, and no one really had a suitable time slot for me. And I wanted to do mornings or afternoon drive time. And there were some conversations, and those conversations dragged on. And so that was another couple weeks burned. And then it was the holidays.
Yeah. Brutal time.
Christmas and New Year's. So by the time I made the decision to strike out and do my own show, to the time we got it up and running on January 22nd, I didn't have a whole hell of a lot of time to put together what I think would have been the best possible show.
work
In
in
retrospect, I may have just pushed back the start date a little bit and maybe put a little more work in.
Yeah.
But I was eager to get up and running because you know how it is in the entertainment business. You don't want people to forget about you.
No.
And you want to, service the audience as quickly as possible and make sure that, people know you're still alive and you're still producing content and you're still out there.
It's all about as much as you can produce, as often as you can produce
So I
it.
did the best show I could
Yeah.
given the circumstances. And a lot of people came on, and I get the sense a lot of people maybe were discouraged or didn't love what they were hearing, and they left the show. And I can't say that I blame them. It wasn't great. But it was obviously, I think, a work in progress. And I think the folks that stuck around, and many of you have, God bless you, now are reaping the benefits of what I think is a pretty good show we do every day.
I think you really got your a strong footing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks to everyone who was there at the beginning, and thanks to everyone who came on after the fact. So happy to have all you Garmin members who are still there. I'm happy to be here and pumping out stuff that I hope you enjoy.